Oh, welcome back to another episode of my Tulane Green Wave Dynasty here on College Football 25, where we're getting ready to start off year four. Um, we're coming off of a interesting off season of trying to progress the team after a lackluster season, certainly in year three. Uh, you know, Came from one game away from that championship game all the way to having a losing record at 6-7. But I think that you know we have spots where the team has improved heading into this year. Obviously, lost some key people as well, and have to find ways to adjust to that. So we're going to just take a look at the team here and see where we can maybe improve and make this a better year four. Things start off, of course, with Celeste Chin, who decided not to transfer. Really improved over the offseason. Still has some ability to improve as well. Should get a little bit quicker. Accuracy, though, is pretty well tapped out, but it's still in a pretty good spot for him. He's going to again operate as our starting quarterback and excited to have him back. Big thing, of course, continuing to try to get the interceptions down. Through 19 last year in 13 games, that's way too many. Took sacks as well, but I think that overall he played pretty well himself. I think he's plenty accurate. I think he's certainly good enough to be a very valuable player and a quarterback that we can definitely win with. He's technically, I think, already a higher overall than Ty Thompson ever got to. So definitely somebody that we can utilize. Deontay Petway is going to operate as the number two this year. Lefty, scrambler, really good athlete. Just not quite as good of a passer as Chin is, but I think it's somebody that we would probably utilize as more of a runner if that's what we had to do. Zachary Jennings as well, somebody that I think would be really solid if we had to start him, just a very low ceiling option there. Eric Browning took a big jump this offseason. After totaling over 1,000 yards as a true freshman, I think that he's ready to take the next step. Really improved as a rusher heading towards the back half of the season. I think you're going to see, again, a lot of Cordell Finnerty, but I think you also see Andre Eberle. I think Deion Richard has maybe got a chance to play a little bit. So we're not going to, just use a single player. We want to make sure that we're getting people involved. But I think it's definitely going to be the Browning and Finnerty show with a couple of other guys maybe coming in. As you can also see, we're planning on redshirting these two guys down here at the bottom. They need to improve a little bit before really getting on the field. One spot that I think I've kind of let get away from me, to be honest, I think is this wide receiver room. Really like Trey Bueno. Obviously, he was a one of the best receivers in all of college football as a true freshman. Just an absolutely monster season. Almost got to 1,400 yards, 11 tuds. But around him, there's not really a whole lot of guys that I feel great about that we have brought in. I think Tavares Peppers is a guy that could potentially play some for us this year. I think Walters, with his speed and explosiveness, is probably another guy that we need to try to get on the field some. But you take a look at this top, like it's a pretty, what I would say, low upside room outside of Bueno. Like Preen is a senior, never really done a whole lot. There is some explosiveness to his game. Amari Muhammad here, redshirt freshman. I mean, I like the really good size. He's got pretty good hands. He's our best catching traffic guy outside of Bueno, but obviously does not have great speed. And he's not really a jump ball guy either, if you look at his physical abilities. I think Sean Nichols lacks explosiveness, but 6'4" could potentially provide some things. But I think we're going to have to be real creative with who we get involved and how we get involved with them. I think it's something that's definitely going to be a bit of a learning curve with this offense. At tight end, I'm going to try to redshirt Shane Campanaro here, but I do think that his explosiveness could be something that we could really utilize in this passing game. Myrtle was solid for us last year, but I don't think there's a ton of upside here. So it may be something to and I'm still trying to work this out, but it may be something Campanero, is playing like immediately, and we just let you go with the upside and figure out ways to make it work with him. Offensive line should be in pretty good shape. I think it'll be an improvement off of what we saw last year. What is that? Deal breaker playing style. Okay. But I do think it's going to be better than what we saw last year. We saw a big jump out of Moore and Cola. Probably got a couple. Yeah, Heinrich's probably going to play right tackle for us. So I think it's overall going to be a really good offensive line. I think we're going to have a really good chance of being able to be a good running football team, which I think is what we really need this year with the lack of true surefire players in the wide receiver room. Really young, talented defensive line. Certainly as far as our depth is concerned, with really good, I think, upside players, though, as well as far as the upperclassmen are concerned. Ashley Williams, Cade Olson should both be really involved. I think Batiste is ready to take the next step and get snaps as well. Got an excellent defensive tackle here in George Fuller, was a 5-star prospect. Comes out the gate with elite development, excellent traits. He is going to be a player here from day one for us and just make things work. We struggled some stopping the run last year. Didn't struggle some. We struggled to stop the run. And I think he's got the potential with his strength. The block sheeting's in a decent enough spot where I think he could really help out from that. But really, really young defensive tackle group, but it's one that's got a lot of upside to it for sure. At linebacker, Robert Lucien is a obviously very highly rated true freshman pass coverage guy. I think with athleticism, you just have to find a way to play him. Elijah Kilgo has obviously been a monster for us this year, or in his career. He's been a starter since day one. Daryl Kumar, as I'm looking back at where we started, was a 2-star guy that we got in the first class, and he has turned into an 84 overall, pretty well completely capped out, but really found a guy that, despite having normal development, despite being a 2-star, definitely looks like a guy that is going to be playing a lot for us this year. Larry Free from the same recruiting class has developed pretty well himself. Marcus Vigil is still improving. And, of course, Isaac Shin is going to be somebody that we let develop a little bit longer. Eldrin Camp was somebody I was really looking forward to potentially taking a leap in playing some this year. And while he certainly has continued to improve, it looks like Ian Fine has kind of overtaken that spot, at least for right now. But probably see both these guys play. Eldrin Camp is such a better athlete than Fine. But I really think that it's going to be hard to keep Lucien off the field here at linebacker. Would not surprise me if Kilgo, Kumar, and Lucien are the guys that end up getting the most snaps at this line in the linebacker room. Got a trio, of course, of cornerbacks here that have played a lot of football for us. Jaden Lewis, Altus Smith, Michael Ivory. You got a 5-star player here, Marcus Bickley, who I think with his 99 speed is certainly a guy that we need to be getting on the field as much as possible here early on in his career and let him develop. Got a couple of lower cornerbacks down here that probably are not going to play a lot, but I feel pretty good about the cornerback room. Got good speed. Could probably do a little bit better. You got 2 guys with good size here as well, so still stuff to improve on. But safety, Maxwell Jordan will be playing the strong safety position again. Jeremiah Jolly still operating as our free safety. Much deeper group than it was at this time last year, as Trayvon Palmer is definitely going to operate as the number 2, both free safety and strong safety. But, you figure you came into last year with essentially 0 playing time at the safety spot coming back, and I feel good about the spot that we're in. I think the defense is going to be better than it was last year. We do have Eric Caver as our new punter, but I think that this is a team that is continuing to push itself forward from a talent perspective. Things that I am kind of focused on in this recruiting class, which before we get done, I will show you guys the recruiting class and what we're kind of going after right now. Still looking for upside, of course, at quarterback, always looking for speed and explosiveness in that running back room. But really looking forward to trying to get some more talented wide receivers. I think this is something that because we had so many young players when this series started, that I've kind of let it go a little lacking as far as the talent that we brought in. Got a couple of guys here in Peppers and Kutcher that I do like. But, yeah. and then trying to just get more explosive at, the tight end, and just trying to continue to build a lot of depth among the defense. So as we take a look at our schedule here, we of course will be at home against the Raging Cajuns. Should be a matchup that I think we can win. Taking a trip to Southern Miss, again, I think it's a matchup that we can win. Going on the road to Texas Tech, I think is going to be tough. Nevada was really good this past year. Went to the college football playoffs. And then the conference schedule, we play Charlotte. They went to the college football playoff. UAB was really good. UTSA always gives us trouble. Temple USF has always been a tough out. I am personally expecting to get farther back into that 9 or 10 win situation this year. I do personally think that as I take a look at this roster, as long as nobody that kind of surprisingly leaves and goes to the pros, I think that year 5 is going to be a big jump-off spot for us, especially if we can bring in the recruits that I think that we can. But I think this is a team that can get back in the top 25. I think it's a team that can make a run at the conference championship. And then you never know once you go from there. Look at the top 25. Ohio State comes in at number 1. Oregon has won back-to-back national titles, comes in at number 2. Penn State number 3 is the Big Ten, really running things up here at the top. Then Florida and Pitt round out your top 5. Kansas State, Tennessee, Michigan, A&M, and Stanford are your top 10. West Virginia, Clemson, Georgia, Notre Dame, USC, Mississippi State, Alabama, Texas Tech, who again is on our schedule, Arizona, South Carolina, Wisconsin, Cincinnati, Texas, NC State, and Indiana are your top 25. You're taking a look at the teams from overall perspective here on the right side. Obviously, Alabama at 89. Notre Dame at 88, Georgia at 91, but we really match up really well with pretty much any team in all of college football. We're 87s across the board. It doesn't feel like this team is really that highly rated, but the numbers are what the numbers are, I guess. Let's take a look at things from a national perspective and just take a look at some of the best players. Then we'll take a look at the Heisman, take a look at the recruiting class, and then we'll move on from there. So at quarterback, your highest rated player, DJ Lagway, obviously extremely talented player there for Florida. DeMarcus Davis, UCLA. Alberto Mendoza is probably not going to play much this year. A fractured kneecap there for the junior, so he'll probably be more of a guy that comes back next year. But I haven't seen a lot of super crazy development among the players right now. Lenore Sellers, former South Carolina Gamecock, ends up at Tennessee, so it'll be interesting to see how he does there. Wade Silva is a guy that is starting to really progress there for USC. But, yeah, DJ Lagway is leading the way, the highest rated quarterback in all of college football. Let's take a look at what his stats have looked like. So, a 28-10 sophomore campaign, 44-8 last year. Big reason why the Gators were taking such a big jump. But you see, Celestia Chin really kind of, over the course of all of college football, really holds himself in a pretty good spot. Certainly a little bit farther down on this list, but to be a true sophomore, he's going to be one of the higher rated ones in all of the country, if he's not actually the highest rated sophomore. Let's take a look and see. Redshirt freshman JT Edmonds, believe he was a 5-star prospect. No, just a 4-star guy, but was really highly rated. Seems like he might be the only player in that same class higher rated than him. Correct. So Celestia Chin, certainly in a really good spot from his perspective. Matthew Sharper, it's a redshirt sophomore for West Virginia, is the highest rated running back in the game. James Peoples at Ohio State, Lamar Sperling, Buffalo, Taylor Tatum, Quintravion Wisner, Jarrett Gibson, Jamani Sand, Javion Thomas. So a bunch of really highly rated running backs. And, our guy, Eric Browning, definitely, lives up to this spot. He's just not getting the boost that some of these other guys are getting to get to the same level as him. But really like Browning, and I think that he's got a really high chance to really put together a strong season. Jabari Body here is another sophomore from the same recruiting class, just a 3-star guy. It's up to a 90 overall. That's outstanding. He just took a big jump over the offseason then because he didn't even play last year or did not receive a carry. Wide receiver, Micah Hudson, Ryan Wingo. These guys in real life that were be it now at this point, seniors. A guy from Ohio State, Cam Williams. Let's see. A lot of guys in this series are really developing here. Iowa's got a highly rated guy there. Mike Matthews. Let's see. Trey Bueno certainly lives up. He's very highly rated for sure. Actually, looks like he's going to be the highest rated person in his class in the country, so that's nice to see. But a lot of different, body types, speed, archetype players, but Micah Hudson right now operating as the top wide receiver in the country. Let's just take a look at his stats now. He has developed so far. To 1,100-yard freshman season with 14 touchdowns. Has not really been able to find that magic again. But has been really good all 3 years there for the Raiders. Tight end, the highest one goes to Antoine Cargile from Pitt, Luke Reynolds from Penn State, Jaden Riddell from Georgia. Let's see, who was sophomore here? Sam Pitatua? Kind of a weird name. Sophomore guy, star development. Let's see what he did as a freshman. Did not play at all, or at least doesn't register on the stat line there. Yeah, definitely would love to get one of these upper echelon tight end guys here for sure. Would love a Luke Reynolds type, an 88 speed. Riddell would be good here as well. Offensive line, got a guy from Penn State. A couple of guys from Penn State here at left tackle. Miami. Okay. So a lot of offensive linemen developing pretty well here as well. Got Emmanuel Rooks, a redshirt sophomore guy from the series, has done really well. Malcolm Hill, Penn State, has got a great offensive line. I mean, they are just absolutely loaded. Wow, Penn State. Penn State's doing really well as far as developing their offensive line so far. I mean, they have the top left tackle, the top left guard, the top center, along with having several other options in the top 5 of those positions without going too far down the list here at all. Right guard, they got a pretty highly rated right guard there as well. So yeah, really, Penn State's going to be really good this year, I would guess. I mean, just essentially because of this offensive line that's got a bunch of guys. Michael Uini there from Georgia, Jamarion Crook. Kind of a spot that seems like we're not getting as much in-series development. Some of the guys are starting to pop off, though. Jamarion Crook's one of those kind of guys. Here at left end, William DePape from Indiana. 91 overall. What has he done? Coming off a 7-sack season, 4.5 the year before. Really developed well. Jeremiah Beam, Alabama. Armando Blunt. Dennis Harper from Georgia. So starting to see a couple of series players starting to make a jump here. Anthony DeMarcado from Oklahoma. Kind of the same here. Elijah Rushing, Marquise Lightfoot. Paul Stout, guy out of Utah in the series, developing well. Don't really see any Tulane players that are a little bit farther down this list. This is a spot defensive tackle where I'm expecting our guys to take jumps. Obviously, as this series continues to evolve as we get into year 5 and year 6. But still got a lot of actual real life freshman guys that are starting to really take on here late. As far as guys in the series, you got Austin Kindred here, a redshirt freshman. Highly rated guy, 84, but he's getting the +4 with the boost, and he's still got plenty of room to grow. There for Oregon, left outside linebacker, Darion Galletti, 94 overall, 92 without the boost. Jamonte Waller from Auburn, Dejon Dawson, Gabe Williams, Joe Phillips, a couple of guys from Auburn there. Cole Sullivan. Let's see. So the highest rated series player is Titus Bagent from Oregon. Middle linebacker, you got Deion Stokes. Oregon, done a really nice job. I mean, Kilgo's got to be, Kilgo's way up this list. Here at middle linebacker, again, he has been really good for us. He's pretty much on the field all the time. Certainly saw a little less playing time this past year because we did have a pretty good overall linebacker group. But he's going to be on the field all the time this year. 5'11", 235, still undersized out of Arkansas, but he has been really, really good for us. Let's see, right outside linebacker. Again, more players from Oregon. A couple of guys from NC State here as well. Cornerback Aaron Scott is the leader. Jacavian Rogers from UTSA done very well for himself and is super really developed. Heath Cole, DeMello, Tevis Metcalf. Okay. Free safety. KJ Bolden. Antonio Smith always seems to really develop in this game here as well. Okay. Strong safety. Ben Olszewski is a true sophomore, 88 overall for Florida. Now, did he play considerably last year? Had all of 4 tackles and is the best strong safety in the country right now. Evan Witzel's right behind him. Cedric Franklin there for Georgia Tech. Nevada, so this is somebody we're going to be seeing this year. Terrell Trapuka. Be interested to take a look at him. Of course, we looked at taking in Kylan Jackson here in this past class, or coming out of the transfer portal, but we did not take him in. Well, speaking of which, where is this other guy? He ended up at TCU as well. Let's see how much higher. I think he was a free safety. It wasn't him. Maybe it was a strong safety. I don't remember exactly who the other one was, but I know that one of the players we looked at here was try to bring in as a transfer was Kylan Jackson. Just decided to kind of leave it alone with Maxwell Jordan and Jeremiah Jolly. But yeah, that is kind of the state of the rosters around the country. Micah Hudson is the highest rated player in the game. Deion Stokes, Malcolm Hill, they're from Penn State. David Bragg and Terrence Green from Oregon are your top 5 players from overall perspective. As we take a look at the top guys here for the Heisman, Micah Hudson leads the way. Ryan Wingo behind him. DJ Lagway, Taylor Tatum, and Quintravion Wisner from Texas. Certainly would like to see Browning maybe get there. I think he's enough of a dual threat with what we're going to try to do with him that I think he's got a chance. And I don't know, does this kind of, so if this is the way that it's kind of expecting us to land, it's got us as the 5th best team prediction-wise in the conference. I mean, we're an 87 overall. So as far as teams in the conference that are, within really shouting distance of us, you have Charlotte, UTSA maybe. That's pretty much it. I mean, we really should be very good in the conference. Just a matter of actually getting the job done. And now as we take a look at our recruiting class, we're going to start things off hot. Sergio Fields, 5-star, number 1 quarterback in the country from Louisiana, wants to stay close at home. I think this battle is going to come down between us and LSU. Obviously don't know what his development is, but good speed, really good, strong arm with, I think, just enough accuracy to be a valuable asset there. Looking at Major Brook here at running back, somebody that we are behind Ole Miss for, but very fast. I think can add some explosiveness to the room that we lack right now. Trying to find some route runners here at wide receiver. All these guys are the route runner tendency. Pretty good attributes, I would say, across the board, but they all also have pretty good speed. None of them are very big, but we definitely are trying to get more bodies into this room. If we take all 3, then we take all 3. That'd be great. Tight end, not going after anybody for right now. Cornell Law, right tackle, we're going after number 1 guy in the country. Obviously, right now, going to be battling it out with Ole Miss. Deontay Burns whiffed on a couple of offensive tackles. Not a bunch of them really want to come to school here right now. So having to try to just find guys that maybe didn't get offered first, go from there. Same thing here at guard. Not a lot of people wanted to come here for whatever reason. No centers we're going after. Really trying to continue to hammer this defensive line. Got a lot of these guys that really like us, really like them. Brian Prochet, of course, is the one I'm going after the most here from Louisiana. 4-star Jim, guy that I think would be really, really good for us. Matt Rousseau, top 20 defensive tackle in the country. Really looking forward to him. Marquise Good. Again, it's a 4-star. He's a bust, but as a power rusher guy, I mean, the 80 speed, 81 strength, 83 power move, I think is somebody that could really help us as a pass rusher, obviously, and does have the quick jump ability. I think he'd be just fine. He probably won't develop that much, but I think he's a situational pass rusher that would be nice for us to get. Rudy Bargava here, 86 speed, middle linebacker. Vernon Lucian. Obviously, we just brought in a Lucian in this past class at linebacker. Just kind of seeing what maybe we could get out of him as a 4-star. Taking the 90 speed, I wanted to take a shot on him. But Bargava here, we're heavily leading the way, at least right now, and he's a really good athlete. We'll be very excited to bring him on. Cornerback, we need a lot of corners. We're going to be losing a lot of them. So just kind of throwing my hat into as many of these guys as possible. Really like Isaac Hops. That's why he's getting more points than any of the rest of them. 91 speed, but does have 76 man, 68 zones. So he would need a little bit of training up for sure. If you look at these guys, I mean, 88 speed and DOS, I'm not super crazy about, but he's 70 zones, 74 man. So I think he could certainly be usable. Caleb Emerson here. 72 press, 80 zone, 92 speed is enough to excite you for sure. Ron Reinhard, 90 speed, 69 zone, 76 man. A lot of man types really here. And then Callum Stewart, the top 10 corner in the country. Shows the bust there, but good athlete, decent enough size, but that 82 press is something that excites me. Free safety, not looking to bring anybody on. And Don Iverson here at strong safety is a guy that I'm excited about as well here out of Georgia, trying to bring him on. Looks like it's going to be a battle, though, with Florida. And, yeah, I think that's pretty much going to do kind of the year 4 preview. So let's advance the week. We'll go over scores, and that way we'll be ready to go during this next episode whenever it's time to start playing the games. I'll do all this recruiting stuff off screen, but it looks like we're in a pretty good spot for a lot of guys there. And, yeah, hopefully we play well this year and get back on track. Obviously, it was a really tough season this past year. So, as far as the Week 0 top 25 games, you had West Virginia over Ohio, Mississippi State over Minnesota, Oregon big over Utah State, Wisconsin over Colorado State, A&M over New Mexico, and Notre Dame over the Royals. So, yeah, I'm excited. And the next time I see you guys in this series, we will be taking on an in-state team here with the Louisiana Raging Cajuns. Thank you so much for tuning in. Check out my Georgia Dynasty on the channel and my Atlanta Hawks franchise there on NBA 2K25. And, yeah, thank you so much for tuning in. Until next time, peace.